Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
Have you ever known an elder or an older adult in your family, friends, church, wherever, work, and you hear them fall for a scam and you're like, damn, they got you on that? They got you on that gift cards? You believe that you have a grandson in Nigeria? Your grandson was hurt. He needs money right now. Like, you believe that? This is the kind of thing that just you realize you're getting older when this kind of stuff starts happening to you, or you start seeing people around you falling for the old okie doke. This man, Bill Belichick, this man went from running all sorts of schemes in 2019. You see him versus the Rams doing all sorts of stuff to mess around with Jared Goff and the play calling, with throwing them off with defensive fronts, etc. You see the mind working at such a sharp level at that time, and then just a few years later, obviously no more Tom Brady, no more Patriots, dynasty, etc. Those kind of players, Julian Edelman, Gronk, etc. It's clearly a different time in his career and in his life right now. But it just makes you wonder, like, damn, does Bill Belichick have dementia or something? Like, what the hell is going on with this man when it comes to his decision making? Now, if you're talking about defense, you could probably learn cover two. He could be, this man could have brain function that's 50% of what he used to be. He could still tell you way more about cover two than most coaches, 90+% of coaches, etc., on man-to-man, pressing, etc., how to do all that stuff. But if you look at his decision making, Shannon Sharp decision, it's like, yo, you guys are falling for some stuff that 21-year-olds fall for. This is what, like 2019, 18, these are the kind of mistakes you make in college. And these kind of mistakes you make fresh out of high school, your first job or two in life. You think you're the man. Some girl's giving you attention, you lose your mind. This man, when you look at his pedigree of just his accomplishments, and then you attach it to the silliness that he's doing with this little scallywag, Tatiana type chick. I'm like, the girl is clearly working this man. And I'm not saying he's demented, but I'm just saying the decision making is very questionable. And the only thing that could explain it is this man just being very thirsty. When I say thirsty, I'm talking about he just never had no female attention ever in his life and is losing his mind because a girl's paying him some attention. Now, if you look at, the only reason I'm covering this is because there's a learning lesson to be had here. Young man, you got to be careful what you're doing, who you're dealing with, what are their true intentions. This girl is clearly working this man over like a trick. She got $8 million worth of property in the last few years. Within I believe since 2023, she's gotten like 3 or 4 properties and has been building a little quiet real estate empire like she's freaking Barbara Corcoran or something. Getting multi-family houses, getting large houses. These are real assets. You ever seen Baby Boy, that old Guns and Butter, all that stuff? Anybody ever talk to you about real assets? This is real property. When the world starts to go to ish, what's going to matter? Food, land, water, all that stuff. Real resources. Nobody's going to give a F about no diamonds. Diamonds don't do you no good. All right? Property is one of those things where it's like sooner or later, the whole earth is going to run out of extra space. It's going to become very valuable. She has been extracting real property out of this man. And you can say what you want about her. She's building the future. She's getting damn passive streams of income. She's getting real tangible goods. She's not focused on like purses and trips and stuff. She's extracting as much out of it as possible and putting it in her actual name. This isn't in Bill's name and just lets her stay in the house, lets her go to the houses. This is in her name. Now, her family most likely put her on game to this stuff from very young. Her parents had a business. I believe when I looked at it, it was like a fishing business. Yada yada. It didn't end up working out long term, but most businesses don't. Very hard to stay afloat for like 20, 30 years, etc. Her mom runs a sex toy business, an adult shop, which if you look at this, it's like this girl is not reading the Quran. She's not reading the Torah, meditating, doing any sort of Buddhist work with this man, reading the Bible. We know what she's there for, okay? She's there for carnal activity, to keep this man excited and enjoying life, etc. And it's like you're not there to actually better this man's life, do anything useful for him. I'm sure the family, they probably do not like this girl like that. I mean, just think of your granddad, bringing home some little thing, and she's over here getting properties, extracting stuff from the man's retirement, playing all these little games. It's like, clearly she's putting in that work, trying to get tangible assets. Now imagine you're in North Carolina, you're in the film room, and this man Bill is tearing you up. You played bad, maybe you missed an assignment, or you're on offense, you ran the route, didn't go the right way, with time with the quarterback. And this girl comes down, whispers something in his ear, needs to chat with him for a moment. He stops, he pauses with you real quick, talks to her, talks to her real quick, gets back to, and once she's done with her, she goes off, scantily clad, whatever. And then he gets back to ripping you in front of her. You're not going to want to listen to this man. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about right now? You're going to want to transfer. You're not going to take this man serious. You're not going to take this man seriously because you're like, what the hell is going on here? How are you doing stuff that we're doing? You like 50, 60 years his junior. It's like your granddad. You would not be listening to your granddad if he was doing the exact same stuff as you. There's got to be some sort of distance, some sort of different level of expectation as you get older. I mean, I'm sorry, you've been around the block too many times to be falling for these kind of tricks. Now I'm calling this man out and doing this video because there's a big learning lesson from this. You can learn a lot from how things are going. You should never be buying property for nobody, especially you're not married. The stuff should be in your name. It should stay in your name at all times. I don't know what he's getting out of this. He's not doing this to kind of hype up his book, because who the hell buys $8 million of property to sell a book? So it's not like a pure, fame level thing or PR thing. This whole thing is just, this man looks very thirsty, and I knew he was thirsty because he let this girl talk way out of turn at one of his interviews. Now, it's very common for people to interject if the interview is kind of going sideways, and it's like, my client is not going to be talking about that. My client's not going to be addressing that. This girl, this is not his wife. This is not his fiance. She don't have his baby. She's over here running. I can't believe I just said this man's old behind potentially having babies. This chick is over here running her mouth, interjecting, popping off, talking about we're not doing this, we're not doing that. I said, this man's a cuck. This man's soft. This man ain't got no backbone. I was like, how the hell you got courage to yell at 300-pound linemen for not having gap integrity? You gonna talk about, Malcolm Butler? Yeah, it's 3-man. Yeah, he's not gonna be playing. This man always talk real aggressive and hard regarding his players. Oh, that's not a game day question. We're only talking about the Packers this week. We're only talking about the Dolphins this week. We're playing the Dolphins. We're only talking about I'm like, this man go from that acting like he's hard nosed, locked in, disciplined, to taking pictures, fishing out mermaids from the beach. This girl, I'm like, come on, man, what kind of silly stuff is this? The only good thing out of this for Bill is because he's being robbed publicly, this girl is not going to be able to sue him for no $50 million. The way Shannon Sharp is getting attacked right now, he's not going to get branded most likely with any sort of salacious accusations. But she's just going to extract her money the same way most evil women do, dollar by dollar, car by car, house by house. Now, that wasn't directed to all women as a shot. Obviously, if you're a good woman, the shoe will not fit. If the shoe fits, then you're probably a piece of crap, and you should be ashamed of yourself, as well as, the man who lets it happen to him. Now, the last thing I want to say is this. The reason that this whole thing is silly is because Bill he's now changed the perception of him. Life is very similar to the prison yard. Now, I've never been to prison. I know people have been to prison. Life is very similar to the prison yard. If you allow somebody to do something to you and you don't do nothing about it, you have now been painted as a punk. Okay? There are certain dog breeds you cannot let them step over your foot because they think hierarchically. They think in a hierarchical manner. If you allow that kind of BS, that is what's going to happen everywhere else. How the hell are you going to check a player when he has drama with a girl that's considered a distraction to the team? This man was big on distractions, keeping distractions away. How the hell are you going to check a player when you got this type of stuff going on? You could say it's not a situation. You could say it's not a big deal, yada, yada. I'm like, the girl's over here buying $1 million properties in your name, interjecting in interviews, doing all sorts of stuff, trying to make sure she gets as much limelight as possible. I'm like, you clearly don't have your woman in order. It's not like she's supposed to be a dog on a leash, but there's supposed to be certain lines of respect that she's supposed to have for you at work, especially in your life. She don't got it for you, man. It's like, how the hell we supposed to respect you? The woman in your house don't even respect you. Like, get the F out of here, man. Bill Belichick, great coach overall for his career. I think he needs to retire. This situation is most likely not going to go well at North Carolina. He was never a great recruiter or drafter in the NFL. So this is going to be very interesting to see what happens. Tom Brady, shout out to him. He was the engine that kind of made that whole thing work with Bill. Bill's the brains, put the whole thing together. And then Tom was kind of the reason that whole thing could even work, because if you look at the kind of rippings that Bill used to do to these players at those film sessions, etc., that man Tom took a lot of stuff that most players at his level. Tom Brady is a top 1% player in NFL history. That's up there with like LT, Dion, Jim Brown, those kind of players, Lawrence Taylor, etc. Or I said LT. Yeah, I'm like, this man, he's up there. He's up there. Jerry Rice as well. He's up there, and he's the type of player who really shouldn't be having to sit through that kind of silliness. He's not that he's unaccountable or he can't be held accountable. But I'm sorry, this man Bill Belichick, for all the years that he was ripping into players like that, to see this man not be disciplined outside of business is like, man, something's going on there. He's either extremely thirsty, or we're gonna find out that he's got some sort of thing medically with dementia. Because something ain't right there. His decision making is very questionable. Now, as usual, don't be mad at me, be mad at yourself.